first question is, what airplanes do we build the window shades for? And we only build them for one, and that is the King Air series. The King Air is by far the most popular airplane out there for corporate and special mission use. There are almost 7,000 of them that have been built, and that's since 1964 when the first one was built, which is more than any other aircraft of its type. They are economical as airplanes go to fly. They get in and out of most any strip, even those that are not paved. We decided to settle on that one because, in addition to being a great airplane, it's got a horrible window shade problem, and that's happened since the very beginning. And today we built 2010 window shades, which is pretty good. The King Air window shades were, none of them very satisfactory, and we didn't like the window shades that were being built with other companies for all airplanes. And we saw the need to build a good one, especially for the King Air, because there were a lot of them out there, and all they had were problems one way or the other. So we decided that if we were going to build one, we were going to design our own. We knew a lot of the weaknesses of all of them, and we knew how to build them without those weaknesses in them. So that's essentially what we did, was design one that was simple to operate, simple to install, and trouble-free.
So the response from the King Air community when we started promoting the shades, as GR mentioned, there were problems with that particular design. When it worked, it was fine, but a lot of the times, after time would go by and they started to burn out, people realized over time, well, these are a 5 to 7 year window shade, and it seems like every time I go in for phase inspections, they're telling me I'm going to have to replace 2 or 3, or the whole ship set. And so the ship set to replace the polarizers is almost half the cost of what you could replace with our pleated window shades, and then you'd never have to do it again. So to have a modern pleated shade upgrade, that was interesting to the owners as well. And then finally, being able to leave them shut on the ramp. The polarizers, if you leave them in the opaque, fully opaque, shut position, to try to keep the heat out of the cabin on the ramp, like maybe you're just going to be sitting there for 3 or 4 hours, or the next day you wanted the airplane, you're going to come back out at 11 in the morning, you want it to be cool and not have the sun beating down in it. You can't leave the polarizers closed like that. It's even a checklist item for the pilot to make sure all the polarizers are open when he leaves the airplane. When Textron partnered with us to come up with a solution for the problems with those electronic shades, that was instant credibility, and the momentum's just built from there. So yeah, it was a little bit slow in the beginning. It was a radical idea, but now it's the industry standard, and you can look on Beach Talk, and there was just a post a couple of days ago of guys talking about problems they're having with their old shades, and several guys just chime in with talk to AFAP. So now it's become the norm. It's the upgrade. It's the better than the factory replacement, and that's definitely something that we're proud of. As we learned before from the T1A shade, which were kind of a backbone for the design that we started with, we saw all the mistakes that were made with that and the things they did right. So we had kind of a running start. It wasn't like a complete clean sheet design, but the fit was, and that was difficult. Not having an airplane right there all the time, and technicians to walk out and hand a prototype to, and 3 or 4 guys to weigh in, that presents a problem for any kind of R&D that we have or that we're faced with. But we've got the fuselages here that we use, and that certainly helps. Even though they're not always the right serial number range or whatever, we can go in and get general dimensions. But we knew that it had to marry to the window line panel well. And the window line panels, we don't, that was another problem, was we didn't have all the window line panels. So I don't know if there's been, probably the traveler seat has more revisions than the window shades do, but we have revised them a lot. And we got it right when we went to market with it, but boy, we really have tweaked it in and made it really good. We want to be somebody that when they get ready to order, they think, man, we bought shades from AFAB before, and they stood behind them, and they never asked a question about anything. I've never charged us for the replacement part when we messed it up. We can take a chance. If they say it's going to fit, they'll stand behind it, then we'll go for it. And we tried to build the company with the team through that, and it affects everybody. Everybody has to make changes, and it's painful, and maybe it's making a change to a mold, maybe it's the drawing, the engineering, how we package it, how we charge for it. It affects most people here, but if we can do it the best way, through customer support, nobody can touch us. Nobody can catch up to us. Our customers are so much more loyal because of that, and that's the relationship we want to have across the board with AFAB. Every product, every service that we provide is that trust and that partnership with our customers to separate ourselves from a competitor or anybody who'd even want to enter the market that we're in.